Welcome to Eagle Discovery. In today's video, we'll take you on a journey to one of the most isolated and bizarre countries in the world, Turkmenistan. From strange laws to a personality cult, this nation has some of the most unusual customs you won't believe. Get ready to explore 11 fascinating things that make Turkmenistan unlike anywhere else. Let's dive in. 11. The Hidden Realm of Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan, located in Central Asia, is one of the world's most mysterious and isolated countries. Bordered by Kazakhstan to the north and Afghanistan to the south, it is largely unknown to the global community. The country's most defining feature is the vast Karakum Desert, which covers more than half of its territory. Beneath this endless sea of sand lie vast reserves of natural gas, making Turkmenistan one of the world's leading energy producers. Natural gas accounts for 80% of the nation's exports, hinting at the country's potential wealth. However, despite these resources, Turkmenistan remains a land of contradictions. With a population of just over 6 million people, it is one of the most isolated countries on Earth. Since gaining independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, Turkmenistan has been ruled by an authoritarian regime, and the country has only had 3 presidents. The leadership is characterized by a cult of personality, where the president's image is omnipresent and dissent is severely restricted. The government's tight control over its citizens, coupled with the country's rich natural resources, creates a situation where the wealth of the land does not translate into prosperity for its people. Turkmenistan's isolation, lack of political freedom, and the centralization of power make it one of the most enigmatic countries in the world. Despite its hidden treasures, Turkmenistan remains a largely closed-off nation, a paradox of natural wealth and political repression. 10. The Extreme Dictator. Following Turkmenistan's independence, the country was led by Saparmurat Niyazov, who took the title of Turkmenbashi, meaning father of all Turkmens. Niyazov's rule was marked by an extreme personality cult that bordered on the surreal. He sought to elevate himself to a godlike status, with his influence extending into nearly every aspect of public and private life. One of the most bizarre elements of Niyazov's reign was the Ruhnama, a book he wrote and promoted as a spiritual and moral guide for the Turkmen people. The Ruhnama was not just another book, it became a mandatory text for all citizens. It was required reading in schools, universities, and even government offices. To succeed in almost any endeavor, from applying for jobs to obtaining a driver's license, citizens had to demonstrate knowledge of the Ruhnama. It was, in essence, a way of ensuring that Niyazov's ideology permeated every part of society. Under Niyazov, the country's focus on his personal ideology and the Ruhnama became a symbol of the regime's control. While Turkmenistan's vast natural resources held the potential for prosperity, much of the nation's energy was devoted to reinforcing the power of the dictator. The result was a nation deeply isolated from the world, with a populace heavily influenced by the whims and beliefs of one man. 9. Reform of the calendar. As if the Ruhnama wasn't eccentric enough, Saparmurat Niyazov took his obsession with personalizing everything to even more bizarre extremes by overhauling the country's calendar. In a move that seemed straight out of a surreal dictatorship, he renamed the months and days of the week to honor historical figures, cultural symbols, and, unsurprisingly, himself. January was changed to Turkmenbashi, in reverence to Niyazov's title, Father of the Turkmens. Meanwhile, April became Gurban Sultan, named after the president's mother. Even the days of the week underwent transformation. Tuesday was renamed Yazgun, Day of Youth, and Thursday became Sogap, Day of Justice. These shifts weren't just symbolic gestures, they were compulsory. The new names were incorporated into official documents, school curriculums, and even everyday activities like TV schedules. Niyazov's calendar reforms reflected the extent to which his government sought to impose his personal legacy on every facet of life in Turkmenistan. Citizens could not escape the constant reminders of his influence, and the changes served as yet another tool for reinforcing the cult of personality that defined his rule. It was as if time itself was restructured to reflect the president's dominance, making it impossible to live without acknowledging his omnipresence. Eight, bizarre laws. Turkmenistan is home to some truly strange laws, none more puzzling than the 2014 ban on black cars in Ashgabat, the country's capital. This decision, enacted by President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow, shocked the public and baffled many car owners. The ban was implemented without warning, and many drivers were left stunned when they found their black vehicles towed away. The rationale behind this unusual law lies in the president's personal obsession with the color white, which he believes symbolizes happiness and prosperity. In contrast, black was seen as a negative color, and thus cars painted in black were no longer welcome in the capital. To reclaim their vehicles, car owners were forced to repaint their cars white and sign an agreement to comply with the new rule. This bizarre fixation on white extends beyond the automotive world. Ashgabat's skyline is dominated by gleaming white marble buildings, another manifestation of the president's vision for his city and country. The obsession with white is a striking example of how Turkmenistan's leadership has sought to impose personal preferences on the entire nation, transforming everyday life into a reflection of the president's values. In a country already known for its eccentricities, this law further highlights the extreme nature of the authoritarian rule. Seven, dress code. In Turkmenistan, societal expectations around women's attire are strict and deeply ingrained, reflecting the country's rigid control over personal freedoms. Modern clothing, such as jeans or tight-fitting dresses, is strictly prohibited for women, who are instead required to wear traditional, modest clothing in public. This includes the balak, wide-legged embroidered pants, often paired with long dresses that align with cultural and governmental standards. The dress code is not merely a fashion guideline, but a tool of regulation that extends into the professional realm. Female government employees, for example, must sign agreements committing to refrain from using beauty services, further restricting their personal expression and appearance. This policy serves as a means to control not just physical appearance, but also individual autonomy. Penalties for violating these dress codes can be severe, ranging from the loss of employment to more serious repercussions, underlining the authoritarian nature of the country's governance. Women who choose to defy the rules face significant risks, reinforcing the state's desire to maintain conformity. This dress code, while focusing on outward appearance, is also a reflection of Turkmenistan's broader efforts to impose uniformity and suppress individuality, particularly among women, as a means of ensuring strict adherence to state-sanctioned ideals. Six, makeup ban. In Turkmenistan, the control over women's appearance is not limited to clothing, but extends deeply into personal grooming and cosmetics. Since 2004, female TV presenters have been banned from wearing makeup during broadcasts. The government defends this rule by arguing that makeup obscures a woman's natural beauty and contradicts traditional values. This policy is part of a larger set of restrictions intended to preserve what the government considers moral purity and cultural authenticity. The makeup ban is just one of many measures imposed on women, especially in 2004, a year marked by significant limitations on their rights. Alongside the prohibition of makeup, women also faced increased obstacles to obtaining a driver's license, with many outright banned from driving. In addition, all beauty services, including hair salons and spas, were outlawed, further curtailing women's personal freedoms and opportunities for self-expression. These restrictions reflect Turkmenistan's authoritarian government, which maintains tight control over the lives of its citizens, particularly women. The ban on makeup, along with other regulations, underscores the state's desire to impose a uniform and state-sanctioned view of morality and tradition. By regulating personal appearance so closely, the government seeks to enforce conformity and suppress individuality, dictating not only how women should dress, but also how they should present themselves in every aspect of their daily lives. Five, worship of the president. Sapar Murat Niyazov's rule was defined by an all-consuming cult of personality, where the glorification of the president reached absurd extremes. Giant golden statues of Niyazov were erected throughout Ashgabat, some reaching as high as 20 meters, costing millions of dollars, money that could have been spent addressing the country's dire social and economic issues. Despite the severe lack of basic services for the population, these monuments to the president's grandeur were a top priority. Niyazov's face appeared on everything from stamps to banknotes, further cementing his presence in daily life. Public institutions, including schools, hospitals, and even airports, were named after him. In a bizarre twist, every citizen received a watch featuring his image, ensuring they were reminded of the president every second of the day. This obsessive veneration of Niyazov extended beyond just symbols. It became a way of life, with the government using these constant reminders to reinforce his absolute control and maintain his status as the central figure in every aspect of society. The surreal extent of this worship highlighted the authoritarian nature of his regime, where Niyazov's power and influence seemed to know no bounds. The people of Turkmenistan were forced to live under the omnipresent shadow of their leader, whose image and ideology permeated every corner of life. Four, an ice rink in the desert. In one of the most bizarre projects ever undertaken by a leader, Sapar Murat Niyazov envisioned an ice palace in the heart of the desert. In 2004, despite the extreme heat of the region, where summer temperatures soar above 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit, the president announced plans to build a massive ice palace in the mountains near Ashgabat. The facility was designed to be a winter sports complex, with ice rinks for hockey, figure skating, and skiing, as well as cafes and restaurants. The complex would accommodate up to 1,000 people, including children who could learn to skate and ski, a strange contrast to the sweltering climate. Against all odds, the project was completed, reflecting Niyazov's determination to turn his extravagant visions into reality. After his death, the complex remained a symbol of his reign, an enormous 18,000 square meter space devoted to winter sports in a country where snow is almost non-existent. The palace was built with the same obsession for white marble that characterized much of Ashgabat's architecture, making it an unmistakable part of the city's surreal skyline. This ice palace became a testament to Niyazov's desire to build a legacy that defied nature, resources, and practicality, and it stands as one of the most peculiar monuments of his leadership. Three, Ashgabat, the white marble metropolis. Ashgabat, the capital of Turkmenistan, is a city that captivates with its striking and almost surreal architecture. Known as the City of White Marble, it features wide, gleaming marble sidewalks, perfectly manicured flower beds, and streetlights that look like sculptures. The city glistens under the sun, creating an almost dreamlike atmosphere. Ashgabat holds the world record for having the largest concentration of white marble buildings. Over 500 structures, spanning an impressive 4 million square meters, stand proudly in this architectural wonderland, a feat that earned the city a spot in the Guinness World Records. The city is dotted with beautiful parks and symmetrical fountains that further elevate its grandeur. Visitors are often left in awe of the immaculate design and attention to detail. Yet, despite its stunning appearance, there's a curious emptiness to Ashgabat. Many of the city's most luxurious neighborhoods, filled with marble-clad buildings, remain nearly vacant. The only inhabitants are often security guards, cleaners, and a few other service workers. The reason is simple but stark. The cost of living in these opulent buildings is prohibitively high for most of the population. While Ashgabat is undeniably an architectural wonder, its beauty comes with an underlying contrast. The lavish structures are not for the people, but rather for a select few, making the city feel eerily deserted despite its magnificence. Two, the Golden Dog. Beyond the stunning white marble buildings, Turkmenistan is also renowned for its deep reverence for the Alabai dog breed, which hails from the region. This unique cultural admiration has been elevated to an official level, largely driven by President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow. His devotion to the breed is evident in his actions. He commissioned statues to honor the Alabai, and even presented a puppy to Russian President Vladimir Putin in 2017. The moment when Putin was seen affectionately kissing the puppy became an international sensation, capturing the attention of people around the world. In 2020, this veneration reached new heights with the unveiling of an extraordinary golden statue of an Alabai dog in the heart of Ashgabat. The imposing monument, glistening in the sunlight, serves as a symbol of the breed's significance to the nation. It represents not just a cultural treasure, but also a national icon. The Alabai is celebrated for its strength, loyalty, and protective nature, qualities that resonate deeply with the values Turkmenistan holds dear. The Golden Dog now stands as a powerful reminder of the breed's esteemed place in Turkmen society, further solidifying its symbolic status in the country's cultural landscape. One, the Melon Day. In Turkmenistan, the humble melon has achieved an extraordinary status as a national symbol, elevated to the point of being celebrated as a true emblem of the country's greatness. Under the leadership of then-President Saparmurat Niyazov, the melon became synonymous with the nation's pride, thanks to its rich aroma, remarkable taste, and impressive size. In 1994, Niyazov formalized this reverence by declaring the second Sunday in August as Melon Day. The occasion has since become one of the most eagerly awaited events in Turkmenistan, with vibrant celebrations including massive melon exhibitions, traditional dances, and lively music performances in Ashgabat. Niyazov himself often praised the Turkmen melon, calling it a gift from the nation's fertile soil, and a fruit so exceptional that it could turn heads. For him, the melon was not just a food, but a reflection of the country's natural abundance and unique identity. This exaltation of the fruit became a key component of Niyazov's cult of personality, reinforcing his image as the figure who guided Turkmenistan to national perfection. Through these annual festivities, the melon was transformed from a simple agricultural product into a symbol of Turkmen pride, embodying both the nation's prosperity and the leader's vision for the country's place in the world. Now that we've explored this bizarre country together, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Which part of this documentary impressed you the most? Leave your comments below and let's continue the discussion there. If you enjoyed the video and want to support us in producing more content like this, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And of course, if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get all updates. Thank you for staying with us this far, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. See you soon.